All right, so you've been doing content creation, making YouTube videos, doing Twitch live streams, stuff like that in Windows, and you decided to take the dive into content creation inside of Linux, but it's kind of getting all those tools that you're used to, where you have like something like Voice Meter Banana or SteelSeries GG, and you want to be able to separate those audio streams, but you have it inside of Linux. Well, that's a little bit, been a little bit of a challenge for you. We already did a video talking about how to set up the audio channeling to where you have virtual syncs on another video, but I wanted to go over that today and show you how to do it when it comes to OBS. So we've gone ahead and opened up our terminal because we're going to be installing OBS. If you're in a Debian-based system, that's going to be sudo apt install obs-studio. If you're in something like an Arch system, so it's going to be like CachyOS, things like that, you're going to be doing sudo pacman-s obs-studio. Or if you're in something that's Fedora-based, you're going to be looking at sudo dnf install obs-studio. In my situation, we are in a Arch-based system, so OBS-Studio is what we're going to be using there. Press OK, or press yes, and do the installation. It's a very easy and lightweight program, but it is also essentially the end-all, be-all at the moment for, broadcasting your, self out to the world. So we're going to go ahead and get this set up. I'm going to be optimizing for recording. This is a laptop in my situation, so I don't really need to be streaming out to it, but I am going to use it for recording when I'm doing some other projects. So I'm going to go ahead and click yes. In this situation, I'm going to be doing 1920 by 1080 because that's the maximum resolution for this display. And we're going to go ahead and apply the setting. Next thing that you're going to notice is that we have desktop audio and mic. We're going to go here to settings, and we're going to go into audio. And we're just going to go ahead and disable those real quick. Click apply. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go here to output. And we're going to go to change simple to advanced. We're going to make sure that we have this one checked. And then for video encoding, I am on a NVIDIA card with this laptop. So we're going to do NVIDIA NVENC H.264. If you're on an AMD card, it's just going to be AMD H.264. All right. We're not really worried about that when it comes to this. Again, I'm not going to be streaming, but I am going to be recording. So we're going to do this. We're going to stick with this hybrid MP4. A hybrid MP4 is kind of like the MKVs that you have, but this one's a hybrid. So if it crashes, it's going to save. All right, we're going to use our encoder. Again, going to be using that H.264. This is going to allow you, specifically in the recording environment, to be able to pause because you've designated that separate encoder. Audio encoding, we're going to do FFmpeg PCM 32-bit float. This is going to allow it to work well with things like DaVinci Resolve. The MP4 hybrid is going to work well with DaVinci Resolve in the Pro model, and then or the Pro software, and then that PCM 32-bit float works well inside of OBS as well. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to select our audio tracks here. We're going to have one audio track that's going to be our stream. If you're doing streaming, again, I'm not, you don't have to. One audio track is going to be streaming. The second audio track is going to be something like our chat with Discord. The third audio track is going to be something like our desktop audio. And the fourth audio track is going to be our microphone. You can do in whatever order you want. I'm just giving examples. Click apply and OK. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and select screen capture, Pipewire. I always just do display or main display, something like that. And we're going to be capturing the hardware itself. So we're looking for this little monitor icon here. And we're going to go ahead and say OK. If you have multiple displays, like I do with my home setup, I've got 3 displays. you're going to want to make sure that you're selecting the display that you want to have everything go to. That is going to be the display that's being broadcast out to the world, so be careful about what you put on there for your own privacy. Now in this situation, you may run into this. We're going to right click to transform and fit to screen. So this way it fits the display to the screen. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab our audio output capture. In this situation, we're going to call one desktop, and we're going to find the easy effects source that we did in the other video, link down in the description, for desktop. And the next one we're going to do is we're going to do audio output capture, and I'm going to call this chat. And that's going to be our chat audio right there. See how we're adding here to these audio channels. If you are live streaming and they say, hey, the game music is too loud, you can turn this up and down here, so this way it's, broadcasting less of that audio. Just know that that's going to affect your recording as well. Or say your friends are too damn loud, we're going to go ahead and turn our friends down. All right, so we're going to put these back to where they should be there. Now the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in our audio input capture. And I just call this microphone, and we're going to go ahead and select, there we go, easy effects source. And that's going to allow us to do things like our input capture. We can go to effects here, add effect, and we can have this noise reduction module added to this. So now it's going to level off some of that audio that we're getting in. In this situation, it's still hearing me just fine. But see how it cancels out the rest of the room noise. So if you're too loud coming into your stream or into your recording, and you want to have it be something a little bit more manageable, so this way you're not peaking, you would adjust your audio right here. Now this is a perfect conversation about it. We're using the microphone in this situation on my laptop, which is picking me up just fine. It's actually across the room and plugged into an HDMI cable that comes here, so it's actually on the other side of my office. But that's not really going to be the best of mics, which is why we're going to be talking about FIFINE. I'm going to go ahead and send you guys over to me earlier doing the unboxing for this wonderful microphone. Thank you to FIFINE. Give it a watch. Hang out with me for just a moment real quick. All right, let's get our coffee. And as I mentioned in the video, let's take a look at the AM8 by FIFINE. Let me make a little bit more room for it, so this way it sits in the frame fully. All right, AM8 by FIFINE. This was sent to me just for review. As everything with FIFINE, I am able to, say my honest opinion on the product. They are not paying me in any way, shape, or form for this. What I'm taking out is just the foam inserts and then the stand. This is a 3/8 threaded stand, which works fantastic with this microphone. We'll go ahead and transition so this way you guys can hear the microphone itself working. But there's the 3/8 microphone stand, another foam insert, and then the microphone. And as always, the thing that we're here for is the USB cable. It's a joke that I keep running with, and it kind of sucks. But what we have here with this microphone, or with this USB cable, is the most important thing. FIFINE gives a nice long one. I use it for my microphone. My microphone is over here. My computer is over on that side of the desk, so everything has to route through and around. And I utilize the Type-C connection because I have add-in cards on my computer. But you can also use the Type-A connection, and this comes with pretty much every single one of their microphones I've had yet. I love these cords. For the thing that everybody's here for is the microphone itself. This is an RGB microphone. It has a gain option here for the audio itself, and then the headphone audio is right here. There's an RGB button and a mute capacitive mute switch, as well as their really lovely, this is a 5/8 adapter, and then inside is actually the 3/8 adapter. We have the XLR as well as the USB-C, which is the reason why I originally wanted FIFINE, was because they were one of the few mics within the price range I could afford that had a Type-C connection. Everything else was micro or mini USB. And FIFINE just it works fantastic. The real-time audio headphone jack. So in my situation, I can hear my own voice through my headphones. And it's not causing any vocal jamming because it actually does a great job at, processing that within the same time that I'm speaking. I'm not wearing headphones right now. That's just me trying to process how I'm saying things. All right. We're going to go ahead and screw it onto the stand. This isn't the normal way that you would screw it onto the stand, but it gives us the opportunity to show off this lovely headphone jack, or this lovely RGB. There we go. So we've got this nice little blue color, and then it's going to cycle around, and it's going to do kind of like a teal or cyan type color. Then it goes around in a green, yellow, red, and then I think it goes back to purple and then blue. I think it goes back to blue after this. Yeah, there we go. And then back to blue. You have multiple settings, so that's blue. That's the light blue. That's the cyan. We have green, yellow, red, purple, and then white. And then an RGB option. The one thing that I like the most about this is that it's very subtle, right? You can kind of see it slightly glowing off my hands, but not by too much, right? It's not glaring it in your face. It adds a nice level of accent to the scene when you're doing stuff. This is part of their Ampligain lineup. With that, they're focused on live streamers and gamers. It's a lightweight design. This is one of their plastic-made housings. But that does not steal away from the audio quality that this thing provides. And then we have the mute switch, which is capacitive. You don't have to press it. You just lightly touch it. And it's pretty responsive. It does a pretty good job. Let me swap my microphone over real quick to this one right here, and you guys can then hear it. I'll have to get up to it because it is one of those things where you're supposed to be talking about 3 finger lengths away from the microphone. Making sure I'm on the right microphone. Okay, so this is the Ampligain AM8 that I'm going to be speaking into. This way you can hear kind of what the audio quality sounds like. The gain is up a little bit higher than what I would do for my voiceover or speaking into mic. But this is the general sound that you're going to be looking at, especially for the price range, which I'm going to put up here on screen. At least the current price. Over on Amazon, you can get it with next day shipping in most cases, and it's fantastic. It's beautiful. As you can also see, we have that RGB still rolling through right there, and it's very subtle and light. It's not even really taking over any of the lighting on the desk, so it's a nice little accent. But yeah, back to what we were doing. Thank you very much to FIFINE for sending this in for review and to show it off to you lovely rifters. We'll get back to the audio tutorial I was doing. All right, and that's our microphone. Again, thank you to FIFINE. I know I already said thank you at the end of that segment, but again, they've been fantastic to this channel and highly supportive ever since we started working with them. But now that you have a good microphone that's able to capture all the audio that you need, and you have all of your audio set up, let's take a look at what that kind of would look like on the whole editing side of things. Because once we get done with the recording, we got to do something with that audio and that video that we've done. So let's take a look at that real quick. So I'm a complete dummy, and I realized that I totally forgot to show you guys how to actually do the audio splitting. Also, I noticed that my my lighting is not that great. I moved into a new office, so yeah, still getting some kinks worked out. So you'll just have to deal with the dark side of David's face. I can be two-faced, but without the second face. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling. So here in OBS, depending on which version of OBS you have, because depending on which distro you're on, it may not have a more up-to-date version. you can right click right here and it'll say advanced audio properties. Or if you're on a more up-to-date one, you have this gear right here. And you're going to click that gear. Now we have chat, desktop, and mic. What we're going to do is, because we want stream to hear all of them, is we're going to leave these on 1. But what we're going to do is we're going to do our desktop audio is going to be on 2. So we're going to uncheck the chat and mic. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have our mic be on 3. So we're going to uncheck the desktop and chat from 3. And then chat is going to be on 4. And then we'll uncheck all of the other ones after that. All right. And then that's going to split our audio up. Now, I don't have a perfect representation of what this looks like because I've been doing a lot of stuff with where I'm just kind of doing tutorials. So we've just kind of got a tutorial that I have to work with. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to see here we have my audio that's running, and you probably hear me in the background. But we have audio 1 and we have audio 3. Audio 3 is my microphone. We're going to go ahead and mute audio 1. And the reason why we're muting audio 1 is because that's everything all in one mix. We want to be able to control audio 2 and audio 4 independently and be able to adjust those volumes. In something like DaVinci Resolve, that's going to be here. So we have audio 2 and we have audio 4. And if there was stuff playing on those tracks, we could actually turn them up and down, just like we can go over here to audio 3 and we can turn me down and we can turn me up. So that's kind of, you know, that's how it works. Same context exists inside of something like Kdenlive. Hopefully if you were confused about something like, you know, mixing your audio and setting everything up and using OBS inside of Linux, then this made a lot of sense. If you haven't seen the video that I talked about setting up the virtual syncs, it is really, really useful. And I find it as a critical piece of utility to have when it comes to your content creation, especially inside of Linux, but in all distros. I'm not here, like if you use Windows and you want to use something, you know, like SteelSeries GG and you're just a Windows person, that's perfectly fine. I have nothing against you on that. There's great tutorials. LJM actually did a video when it came to SteelSeries GG. So if you're in the Windows world and you happen to just see this and you're trying to figure out how to set that up yourself because you've been thinking about it, I'll link down below LJM's video on SteelSeries GG. Again, thank you very much to FIFINE for their fantastic microphone that I've used during this tutorial. We'll see you guys in the next one. Don't be afraid to dive on into Rift and click subscribe.